Hello, everyone. This is Mike from Dimensional Walking. And today I'm going to title this episode Human slash Alien Insight to Our Probable Connection. So, as I've told you before, I've done over 1,500 interviews with contactees and abductees. And many of their stories, of course, are very similar, with similar journeys and similar outcomes, etc. But occasionally I get one story, or I've gotten quite a few actually, that have something profound to say. That between the communication of the aliens and an abductee or the contactee, there was something that was departed from the alien that was to provide some guidance in the future for the human. So this time, I'm going to share you a story. One of our viewers named Thomas shared a story with me, and I thought this story was quite profound, especially at the very end, what the alien being or entity told him. And so, anyways, let's get started with the story. I'm going to kind of look at my notes a little bit so I can make sure I try to get it as correct as possible. So, anyways, so Thomas, in 1999, went to a friend's house, and they had a party. They had a good time. They're doing a little drinking, and anyways, nothing profound happened during the party. But the next morning, when he woke up, he heard this weird bubbling, cracking noise in his ear, and he never heard this before. And to him, it sounded like a conversation between something, using a weird language, okay? And he had guessed that he had tapped into a conversation with with gray aliens, basically. I'm not sure why he thought it was a gray alien, but that's what he said. He was always very sensitive to communication with people, and he could sense things a lot. I guess he was an empath of some sort. So much for that. But then there was a series of events. I guess it was about 10 years later. He was running a home remodeling business, and he was having a tough go of it. Him and his crew were working at a hoarder's house, and I guess it was difficult making things happen with a hoarder. So for a period, but what happened right after that, it was a period of several weeks where he was having trouble sleeping because he was having kind of these strange dream hallucinations of ants crawling all over him, okay? And also something strange, scratching, I guess, crawling, digging, I guess, is probably the term he used in the walls next to his head as he was trying to sleep. And this is pretty disturbing. He made a comment. He said that he had no predispositions to psychosis or had any other psychotic symptoms in his life. After experiencing these sounds in the wall and basically in his ears or his head, he woke up one morning, he noticed this green slime, I guess I would call it, on his shoulder and his arm. And that really stressed him out because he jumped up. He sort of, after having all this other stuff happen to him, this was kind of the topper. So he ran outside and smoked a cigarette, and he noticed not only was there some on his arm, but there was some on his shoulder, and it had a really bad smell to it. And it was green, and he said it smelled like fish emulsion. Now, honestly, I don't know what fish emulsion is. Somebody out there, you may know what that is, but I assume it's something to do with fish, right? Well, he does also say it something or some other type of strong fertilizer. So I guess it may be a fish emulsion. maybe some type of a fish fertilizers that people use to put on their gardens, I guess, or something like that. So he was freaked out, but eventually he got back in the house and went back to sleep. The next morning he got up and he went into the garage and was hit by the smell again. And this time it was coming from his trash can, which he thought was really odd. He didn't honestly remember putting anything in his trash can that smelled like that on the previous day. So anyways, he took the trash can out. He cleaned it out in the backyard. And the weird thing is, when he came home that night, wherever he rinsed out that trash can, the grass was all dead, completely dead. So that he thought that was pretty weird also. Anyways, so he days later, he was going to work, and he was setting up a paint machine in his backyard. I guess he was just getting ready to put the paint machine on the truck and take it to the remodel place. And he got a call from his mother. And when he answered the call, there was all kinds of garbled message that reminded him very much of 1999 when he had those other freaky events. He freaked out due to the nightly events, so he hung up and he called his mother back. And he couldn't get his mother. He kept on getting some kind of the same kind of garbled recording, or some kind of a sequence of sounds, I guess he kind of said it. And I guess finally he did, after about 4 calls, he finally got through to his mother. Now he said, his mother said she never got any calls from him, but she got 3 calls actually that were the same as the ones he was getting, with the kind of sequence of weird sounds very similar to the cracking and the bubbling he had gotten in 1999. So he thought that was really strange, and so did his mother. She thought it was really strange. So he was waiting basically so then he was just there, and he was waiting for his buddies to come. And he was going to tell his buddies, his crew, about what had happened. And one of his best friend, I guess, he interrupted him and wouldn't allow him to kind of tell him that, because he wanted to tell him what he had dreamt about that night. And he had said that he dreamt that he saw Thomas with his skin, that he was peeling off his skin. Now, Thomas didn't mention this to me, but that sounds very reptilian to me. I don't know if that's how you guys feel, but that's how I feel. It's kind of a reptilian thing. And so anyways, so Thomas again was starting to freak out now. And he went upstairs and started working, thinking this would take his mind off of all this, right? So he started painting, and a typical subconscious, or maybe an untypical subconscious voice came into his head and told him the following. And he basically, what he also thought at first was him. He thought it was maybe his ego talking to him. But then he kind of pushed his ego aside and allowed whatever this other thing was to speak. The message was in a creation of his own for all intentions and purposes. This is what this entity said. And the message was, you are an extension of me. Now, after digging a little farther, Thomas actually said it was, more precisely, you are an extension of my consciousness. So, here we are. An entity, an alien, is telling Thomas that he is an extension. He's actually part of the alien. Okay? Now, this was very profound to me personally, too, because I had always thought, maybe because of the 1,500 interviews of abductees and contactees, that there was something like that possibly going on with them. Okay, they were extension, they were part of something. So, is it possible? Is it just possible that everybody on this planet is an extension of an alien or entity consciousness, or of that entity or alien? Is it possible that maybe they are in a little bit of a control over us from that standpoint, or at the very least, are they watching one alien watching one individual human on Earth for whatever their agendas are? I don't honestly know what their agendas are, but what do you think? This is something that I had always thought about, and Thomas brought it back to my opinion, to my mind, and I was just, said I gotta share this with everybody and see what you think, and especially like to hear from any contactees or abductees that may have had similar feelings, or maybe even got a message from an alien entity. So, with all that said, thank you very much. Please subscribe. We need your comments. We need you. If you want to comment here, it's fine. If you want to comment at dimensionalwalking@gmail.com, that works too. So thanks a lot. Happy trails until we meet again. Bye-bye.